Hello, hello.
Hi, we are back and we survived Snowmageddon 2026.
Well, let's not think too fondly yet that is over.
That's just the first one.
It's the first one and it's just now February, so we're going to be in trouble.
Right.
I just hope the groundhog sees his shadow and, we can call it quits in 6 weeks. We can count the days down.
Have you seen all of the different groundhogs on Facebook?
Yes.
This morning I saw the Italian groundhog where he was like, I ain't seen nothing.
Let's just hope, right?
Right.
Or wait, we want him to see the shadow.
I don't remember.
I think we want him to see the shadow.
Phil.
Yeah, well. Anyway, it's cold, but our real estate market for 2025 officially is a wrap.
Really?
And, numbers are out, and yes, we made progress. So we always see this, progress in one way is not necessarily progress in another, So sellers market's not necessarily the best for buyers, but I did bring some data to share with you. So for the end of year 2025, we had 17,800 homes that sold in our area. That is a whopping $4.2 billion in sales, which is pretty phenomenal.
Is that new sales or is that refinancing too?
This is only new sales that go through our MLS. So this doesn't count if there's a for sale by owner. It's not commercial property, So there are some things that aren't included in this.
Okay.
But that information that we as our realtor base collect and maintain, this information is there so that we can see how much of a year over year change there has been. So officially, a 4% increase in the number of homes that were sold from 2024 to 2025, but just a slight increase over, I just lost my thought, over the home sales themselves. So the home sales, and what we want to know is what's the average price of homes in our area, because that also has upticked, another 5%, 6% gain in most areas. Average sale price is $293,000 now. So
wow.
It is continuing to go up. Seller side, that's a bonus. Buyer side, what's the struggle? What are we having to deal with? But I think the big win for the buyers is that they are having more inventory hit the market. So they have more choices. And if they're ready to make the move, then at least they're not stuck with just seeing one home and making an offer.
Yeah.
Maybe they're able to see 5 or 10 or whatever.
Yeah. And things aren't selling in the first hour like they were a couple years ago.
Right. It's not as heated as it was, but because this is basically the end of the year numbers and we're already seeing uptick for January activity, we still only have less than a 2-month supply of listings on the market. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
So if a buyer wants to be ahead, they need to be doing it when there's snow on the ground and somebody else may be staying home.
Yeah.
And then they're not competing. And they also need to realize that maybe the time to move is sooner, not later, because once the weather does turn and we start getting warmth and the spring season starts blooming, now you're back into, I believe we're still going to be in competitive market, and you're going to be competing for who's giving the best price, asking for the least options, and can make it happen faster. So a little bit of that is still hanging around.
Mm-hmm. How many days was a home on average?
Average days on the market has clicked up to about 38 to 42 days on the market, depending. Now, a lot of that is going to be loan time, but we still have a strong cash market that's also in our communities. So when they come up and they are a solid deal and they're under market value, people are jumping on them. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we see a little bit of a teaser price go out. And somebody is like, well, if we list it 20% below market value, then we'll just have everybody compete over it. It looks too good to be true. Sometimes you have to watch and say, is it just going to be a feeding frenzy, right?
Yeah.
And we know from some of the homes that we saw, just because it's been on the market for 35 days doesn't mean that it's not getting seen or that somebody's not ready to pull the trigger. So delaying to go see it, well, let's wait, may cost you the opportunity, because the next thing you know, then the status goes under contract.
Right. And we're out of Christmas.
Correct.
And we're kind of out of all the holidays, so.
It's back to reality.
Yeah.
Even though there's snow on the ground, it's back to a reality check for people.
Yeah.
So the big thing is that we have still had year-over-year increase, and activity is picking up. Currently, we are showing that we have 2,241 homes on the market that are actively for sale. So when we started 2024 talking, we had less than 700 active listings. So you can see how much more inventory there is, but it's still not enough to absorb all of the potential buyers that are out there. So it's still considered a seller's market, but we're in the flux of where maybe the buyers are getting some opportunities here.
So on these numbers, does that include new builds?
Does not include new builds because they typically are not going through our MLS system.
Okay.
We did finally add where we can use them for comp basis, and that means after the fact, if a realtor has been involved, they brought the buyer or something, then they're able to put that information into our system, which allows for us to have a competitive look at values of the homes in that area. When it's a new subdivision, it's hard to compete to know what is the value of this home because everything is 10, 20, 30 years, maybe even more older. So you want to have what is really apples to apples comparison to say what's the real value of this home, not just what the builder is telling you, right?
Yeah. And so I've heard a lot of talk about interest rates going down now.
Yeah.
So, and then I guess they're only continuing to go down unless, there was something major that would make them skyrocket again.
Yeah, so I mean, we're comfortably in the low 6% that is being talked about for most people. There are some buyer incentives out there where if you're working with a contract builder, that they may buy down the rate, and I've heard as low as 4.9 on that.
Wow.
Somebody getting in a 4.9 on a home, even if it's a $300,000 home, that gives them the option to do a lot more, right? They're getting more for their money at that point than if they're at a 6%. Anytime there's a 2% difference in that interest rate, it's enough to make a difference in the homeowner themselves.
Yeah. Okay.
Which a lot of people were doing refis. I know the business got really busy for our lenders and everything because of refis that had come down enough. If somebody had bought when it was low 7s, now it's pushing that 6 limit.
Or even an 8.
Yeah.
Because at some point there were people buying at 8%.
Yes. So if they're now able to get into that low 6 range or even under that, it's worth it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, if you want to refinance, reach out to our favorite lenders that have been on here. Shout out to Justin and Drew.
Absolutely. And there are lots of opportunities. So don't think that it's not the time to make the move. If you are really considering having to relocate yourself, it just might take a little due diligence, but we're here for you.
Yeah, and you can always reach out to our favorite realtor, Tammy, at Real Homes to Love.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us today on the Realty Podcast. If you enjoyed the knowledge and entertainment today, please subscribe and share with your friends. We will be embarking on a journey that bridges the gap between realtors and clients, uncovering the heart and tea of real estate.